Hey guys, Harry here. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of this playthrough of the continent expansion for Fantasy Map Maker. So, in this expansion you're going to be playing 4 games of Fantasy Map Maker and then combining all 4 resultant game sheets into one giant continental map. In part 1, we began in the northeast of our continent, and we have created a few lakes and rivers, added some names to various features. We have a bit of a capital section going on here, the capital of Stoneholt, perhaps, and that was because we used this quest that gave us points for adding lots of houses to one particular space. So this was the first, this is part 1, so this is the first sheet that we completed. We also had a bunch of other quests that will not be repeated for the other 3 game sheets. So this was part 1, and part of the map at the bottom has bled into, so the Goblin Woods have gone into our southeastern game sheet, and that's the game sheet that we're going to be working on today. So yeah, and if you are interested in checking out the first video for this series, please do have a look at the link in the comments, or I'll try to add this to a playlist of some kind. Yeah, alright, so for this game sheet, we are going to have events that we're going to play with, and these have been shuffled and just set aside. If doubles get rolled, like that, then we will draw the top event card and then resolve it. We also have 2 main quests. These are quests that we're following through across all 4 maps. So we are going to try to have lots of events happen, because if we have two events that occur twice, one event that occurs twice, we'll get 10 points each time that happens. I hope that made sense, yeah. And then we also get 2 points per lake, and that includes lakes created by coastline. So we want lots of lakes on our map. But we also need to choose some new quests for our southeast region. So I should say as well that I've started in the first part. Part 1 was in the northeast, and I'm just going to go around in clockwise fashion till we get to the end. But when you're playing this game yourself, you can start in any order, and you can do the game sheets in any order. You can also play this version of the game with multiple people simultaneously. And actually, specifically, I should say 4 works really well, because you can each work on your own game sheet and then combine them. But you can also play 2-player, where you'd each do 2 game sheets. So that's something you can do as well. I'm playing solo, so I'm playing against AI opponents, and we will calculate their scores at the very end of all 4 game sheets. Along with my scores, we'll add that at the very end of all 4 game sheets. I did want to say one thing before I go any further, and that was that someone brought up a good point about potentially changing the rules for this particular card, because I think I mentioned in the last video that I would like to make this form of drawing events where you shuffle the deck and then you just take the top card when doubles get rolled. I'd like to make that the standard form of the game, because I think it's a bit more exciting. However, it does make preparing for this quest particularly difficult, so I do think that this quest will be altered a little bit for the production of the boxed edition. So that will be something that will change, most likely. And there are some other little rules that will change as well, such as at the moment you cannot. So my northeast sheet is up here, and in the current rules I cannot meet the edge of the map of the northeast that would lead into the northeast game sheet, because that's already completed. And there are a couple of reasons why that rule was put in place, but in this case I do think it's actually good if the players are allowed to touch the border of completed game sheets, because it feels a bit more natural when you're playing it and it's easy to forget that, oh, I'm not allowed to do that. So I think that's another thing we'll change. And finally, a small thing, but potentially a rule that will give you a bit more freedom in the game is currently mountains and forests must be placed on the intersections of the grid lines, and the intersections must be connected. They must be connected north and south. So at the moment, you cannot go from one intersection to a diagonal intersection. So for example, if we look at the first game sheet, yeah, so here I went 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's okay, but I could not have this forest go over there. That's in the current rules, but I think that will likely change to allow diagonal connected intersections, because I just think that gives you a bit more freedom. But anyway, it's a small thing. All right, so let's get into it, and we're going to choose our quests. I'm going to choose these randomly, so I only have 4 to choose from because one of each set was removed in part 1. All right, so we're going to have our Rugged Isles. This is going to give us 1 point per space that has mountains and coastline. Next, let's go Journey's End. 4 points per space that has a landmark and a road. Flowing Streams, 2 points per space that has forest and a stream. So we're going to want to have lots of forests and streams in the same spaces, and that's good because we actually begin with 4 spaces that contain forests, thanks to our previous game. So I'll put that there for now. Next we have our Towns quest. So these are quests relating to buildings, well, usually houses, I should say. And this is separate land masses earn points for how many houses they have. All right, this is going to be interesting. So we're going to want to create potentially more islands to add houses to. Now, I will say that with this, this might be a little tricky to explain, but I'll try my best. With this, so we have our kind of the main continent part here, and we're going to be creating a coastline that's going to kind of wrap around here and enclose the continent. The outer edge here is going to be ocean. However, if we're able to have like separate land masses within this game sheet, yet they become the one landmass in another game sheet, that does not affect the scoring of this. So we would so for example, if we had one coastline here that made a little, I guess, peninsula almost sticking out here, and then we had another, the main part here, and there'd be 2 separate on this game sheet, but then actually they do connect and they're part of the one landmass. That actually doesn't matter for the sake of scoring this quest. So when you're scoring your quests for each game sheet, you don't need to factor in what's happening in the wider world. Anyway, moving on. Our final quest is related to the wheel, this section of a game sheet here, and that is the power of 2. So we're going to get 2 points per the number 2 written in the wheel. So there's only so much control we have over that, but we can use some of our landmarks to maybe manipulate die results to add more 2s to our wheel here. And also we can choose when to add 2s and when not to. So we do have a bit of choice there. But I'm going to take a moment to add our quest numbers here and set up our game. Alright, so we're all set up and we are ready to go. I'll just be providing some inane commentary as we play, but I probably won't go through the rules in detail as we go. So if you do want more of a rules explanation type thing, then please do check out the how to play videos and the other playthrough videos where I actually go through the rules in a bit more detail. Alright, but let's go. Start with our first landmark. 5 and 6, so it's going to have to be, so we put the 5 and 6 here, and then we can choose either of these spaces for our first landmark. That's interesting. Well, maybe we think about our rival kingdoms and think about adding a castle into one of these spaces, and then maybe that can be a separate island of some kind. But I do like the idea of being able to manipulate our die results a little bit as well. So I think a temple could be good, or even the ruins. Yeah, maybe the ruins. All right, so I think I'm going to draw the ruins, and maybe here for our first landmark, and I'll put an R here for ruins, and I'll draw my ruins. Alright, nice. Alright, so here are my ruins. I've got some kind of standing stones. This ruins ability lets me manipulate the dice values to keep the total of the two dice, but rearrange the actual numbers as long as the total is the same. And once, if I do use that ability, once I've used it, I then put a little check mark next to the R. But we're ready to go. Now we have all these spaces here from the previous game sheet are already considered explored, so we can keep adding to those. And but this is also explored down here, so we can also start branching out from this space here. All right, let's see. Double fives. Okay. All right, so we have our first event. This deck has been thoroughly shuffled, so I'm just going to flip the first card, and it will. This is perfect, and I promise I did shuffle these. This is perfect because this is the same event that we did in the previous session of the game, which was where we only have one event, and we do need to have as many events repeat as possible to get points for our Chaos Quest. So nice. Alright, so this is a Cave of Lost Memories. We are going to resolve the event, so we're going to put a B in this circle here, because this is event B. And I will resolve it, so I'm going to put a check mark here. However, if I just skip the event, I could do that. I put a cross there, but I would lose 5 points, so we don't want to do that. So we're going to draw a cave on a mountainside or in a land area of a space if no mountains exist yet, and block any two features in the feature wheel. Well, we don't have any mountains yet, so I'm going to have to draw the cave in kind of in no man's land, and just hope that we get mountains soon, which I'm sure we will. And events you can draw anywhere. You don't need to follow the typical explored rules. So I think maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling this space for no real reason. This can be a cave here. It's our Cave of Lost Memories. The cave is kind of there, and then we're going to block two features. This just means we're essentially just are taking them out of the game, but we're not losing any points for them. In this case, we're not earning any points for names really. In this setup of quests, so I think we can ditch a couple of the names. Let's do maybe this one. Is there anything else we can ditch? I think we need all the other features really. Yeah, we're still gonna have two names if we take two off the table anyway, so that's not too bad. All right, there's our cave there. And we need to remember to add mountains to that cave. Alright, so let's keep going. Oh, 3 and 6. Okay, so we can have a river, or we can have a forest. If we have the river, that's going to be crossing over 6 times. Maybe we don't. Yeah, I think a forest could be good, because that is going to help us with our Flowing Streams quest. And we have a bit of forest happening here already. Okay, actually, this space is already considered explored, so I think it might be good to actually branch off into this area here, and maybe have the forest cross over these 3 spaces. So yeah, so I'm going to have the forest. It's going to be a 3 because we use the 6 for this wedge to choose the wedge, and we use the 3 to dictate how many intersections the forest is crossing over. Yeah, I think that's going to work, and that is going to have us start to venture into our southwestern region, and so we're going to have to extend the forest into this part as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add that forest in now. Alright, so here is my forest crossing over 3 intersections. That does bleed into our southwestern map. Alright, so now I need to remember to add some streams to these different, these other spaces that share the same spaces as the forest. Alright, let's see what's next. 4 and 3. Okay, 4 and 3, so we can add some rivers or some mountains. Alright, mountains could be good because we need them for our old cave sitting in no man's land. So let's do that. Let's choose the 3 for that. And let's add 3 mountains, maybe. Because we need to have rugged isles, we need to have mountains that also share the same spaces as coastlines as much as possible. Maybe we can go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Maybe that works. Alright, I'll think about this and then I'll add my mountains over 3 connected intersections. Alright, so here's my little mountain range here, and we have we've resolved that part where the cave was, so we're not going to lose points for not having the cave on a mountainside. Okay, next turn. 6 and 5. Alright, well that could be good. We could add another landmark straight away. Landmarks are generally always good. The only problem is that then this is going to be a 5, so it's just going to mean that a landmark is going to have to be in one of these columns or rows somewhere, but I think that'll work. Journey's End quest is going to give us 4 points per space that has a road and a landmark, so maybe we can think about having a road later connect these ruins to whatever landmark we add now. So yeah, let's do that. So let's add the 5 there, and we roll again. And we got 4 and a 1, so we can choose either of these numbers to put here to determine the coordinates of where we're putting our landmark. 5 and 4 gives us the option to add it here, and that could be good for that reason I mentioned before. So I think we'll do that. We'll do, because otherwise 5 and 1, it's going to be, yeah, we're going to be far away from everything. So yeah, I think we'll do that. Let's do 5 and 4. And I do want to have a bit more flexibility with moving things around. So one-time ability would be good, but castle is always good for our rival kingdoms quest as well. Decisions. Yeah, all right. No, let's do a castle. And let's add it here, and let's maybe plan to have a little island of some kind, or at least that these are on, so that we separate the castle from the mainland. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right, let's do that. Yes, okay, so castle done, and we're ready for our next round. Double 4s, alright, another event. Double 4s, so we're going to draw our next event card. And that, ooh, okay, drought. Draw dunes across 2 adjacent land-only spaces that do not contain forests, coastlines, lakes, rivers, or streams. Then we're going to lose 5 points if forests, coastlines, lakes, rivers, or streams are drawn in these spaces. Well, this is kind of good that this has come out now because we have enough space to add the old drought. And yeah, so I think we can do that. Now we are able. So it's a land-only space. That just means that it can't have coastlines or water of any kind in it. It can also not contain forest, but that doesn't it doesn't preclude this space here or these spaces here, even though they do have mountains in them. So that could be an option to maybe add the old drought here or here. I'm just thinking because it's going to take up a lot of space if I put it in this section, and I had some vague plans for what I was going to do there. So yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll have the dunes. This can be a bit of an arid section near the forest, which who knows? That maybe that's possible in the real world, maybe not. But I feel like deserts are usually on the other side of mountains, so it kind of makes sense. And then it would make more sense if we had more mountains here, so we can imagine this kind of Death Valley-esque section. We could also add the two. No, another thing. Sorry, I'm all over the place now. Another thing I'm thinking about is our Rugged Coastlines quest, where we're going to earn points for having mountains and coastlines in the same space. So we probably don't want to add the old dunes to any of these mountain spaces. So all right, change of tune on that. Let's just maybe we'll shove it in the corner down here, and that can be our desert section of the map. But we do need to make sure we have space to draw our coastline that's going to connect to our southwestern map as well. So anyway, after all that waffle on, I think we're ready to add our drought in. Right, so here's our drought, and we rolled that with double 4, so we need to write the E for the event letter, and then check, because we have resolved it. So we're going to hope that this comes up again in one of the next game sheets, so we can earn points for our chaos quest. Okay, moving on. We still haven't got any 2s on our game sheet, on our wheel, which is a bit of a concern for this quest. So let's pray to the dice gods that some 2s come up here. Okay, the dice gods have answered. So 2 and 3. It does mean though to actually write the 2 down, we can't choose the second wedge. We do need to choose this wedge here, and let's do that. We'll put a 2 here for the river. And that's going to work out well because we had this this river from the previous game sheet, and that actually flowed into the ocean. So I didn't want to have this one flow into the ocean either, because that would be a bit strange and unnatural. Although not against the rules of the game, you can do some odd things as long as there's some plausible, albeit tenuous, explanation for them. But in this case, I think it makes sense for the river to actually originate from these mountains here, or perhaps it could end here and I could add more mountains later. No, I think we'll have the river go down here. Let's do that. Alright, so here's our river, and if we were to end the map and not close off this river, this would actually be considered a map mistake. In Fantasy Map Maker, all rivers do need to start as streams, but we want to add streams anyway for our nature quest, so I'm sure we'll be able to add one there by the end of the game. Alright, next up, 1 and 4. Alright, 1 and 4 is pretty good because we can start to extend our coastline. We'll add the 4 there. Yeah, let's start to bring this down here and maybe have it also creep into these spaces so we get some points for our Rugged Isles quest. In the previous session, I committed to a bit of a strange way of drawing coastlines, and I'm kind of stuck with that for the rest of this session, but I think I hope it looks good by the end of the game. But anyway, we're going to do that now, and we're going to add 4 coastline that crosses over 4 times. Alright, so here is a coastline. It crossed over 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And I did want to mention one thing, and that is that the quest cards are not just designed to always give you something a bit different to think about as you're playing the game and as you're thinking about how you can earn points. But one reason that they are different is to always I guess push your map in directions where you might not naturally take it as well. Like I was just thinking about this. Like I don't think I'd ever choose to put the coastline so close to these mountains here. My natural, I guess, inclination would be to have a bit more space, but because of that quest, I was thinking about putting the coastlines and the mountains in the same space, and that is just going to lead to more varied maps as well, and kind of add a bit more spontaneity and variety to the kind of maps you would otherwise make. And so that's definitely part of the design goals of the game, is to make sure that you when you're playing the game, you're able to draw lots of varied maps, just due to needing to follow these quest cards. So yeah, all right, let's keep going though. All right, double fours again. Now, double fours again is not going to trigger the event because that has already been triggered by the drought previously. So we are going to need to choose 4 for either of these spaces, which actually isn't too bad because we did want to connect these 2 landmarks for our Journey's End quest. So yeah, I think we'll choose. We could do houses as well, but no, I think we'll do the road now. And let's add a road. And do we aim to connect it to the mainland, or do we try to keep this as a separate island? I think we try to keep this as a separate island. It might not work, but let's try that. So we're going to draw a road that crosses over 4 intersections. Alright, so in the end I did change my mind and I've had the road kind of veer up here, but yeah, so hopefully we can still earn enough points for rival kingdoms. But anyway, let's press on. 6 and 5 again. Well, we could do 6 roads. That could work because we do have this road up here, and we do want to access this coastline at some point. So yeah, I think we'll do that. And but we'll continue this road instead. But maybe this one can venture into the neighboring map, or maybe it can head this way. No, let's have it head this way, and it's going to cross over 6 times. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we've had the road cross over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's kind of joined up to the road we created earlier as well. So actually, one of the continent main quests is about having a big connected road. So if we had chosen this, then we'd actually be doing quite well with this particular quest, but we haven't, and that is okay. All right, let's keep going. 1 and 5. All right, well, that could be good because we could add a massive forest somewhere, or we just do 1 and have 1 coastline, but that seems like a waste. 5. Oh, I could do 5 mountains. That probably makes more sense. Sorry, I totally missed the mountains there. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. All right, so if the mountains go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I'm gonna add the mountains in this bottom area here, and then one of them is going to actually bleed into the southwestern map. So let's do that now. Okay, so that's that. Here's the mountains crossing over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and bleeding into the next map. So yeah, this is becoming a bit of a strange section of the world. All right, and that's good too because it gives us access to another landmark if we're able to roll a 1. However, we do need to start rolling more 2s, so let's go. Double 1s. Okay, another event. Alright, so now that the map is filling out a bit more, we may or may not be able to resolve this one, so let's see what we get. The Troll Toll. Alright, we're going to draw a monster in a land area within a space. We're going to lose 5 points if the space does not have at least one river, and then we're going to lose 1 point per house in the same space as the river or rivers in the monster's space. So we already have a river, so I think it makes sense to add our troll to the river, and maybe he can be lurking at the foot of these mountains somewhere. Alright, so here is our troll. It might be a bit hard to tell what he is, but he's a troll, and he's hanging out here at the base of the mountains. It was a double 1 that triggered the troll, and we resolved it. So what I wanted to say is I just need to remember not to add houses to any of these 3 spaces. However, even though this river does connect to a bigger river network that does have houses in it, we're not going to lose any points for that, because when you play the game, you just look at the one game sheet when resolving events and quests during scoring. Yeah. So that's that. So a few more events this game, which is good. All right, 2 and 4. Finally, another 2, which is good. Yeah. All right. So let's do another landmark here, and all right. So we can do 2 and 5 or 2 and 6. So we can add it here. No. All right. I think we put it in this space, 2 and 6. So let's go 2 and 6. I was thinking a mine would be great because we have mountains here, but we don't. I think the idea of adding 2 to a dice result. To a die result is not going to be that helpful with this particular game. So I think we'll do a temple, and we'll add our temple down here. All right, here's my temple. Put a T there to remind myself that I've got that available, and we still have the ruins ability available as well. So I've got a couple abilities that we can use if need be. 5 and 6. Okay. All right. So 6 houses. All right. That's good. We don't have any houses yet. So let's add. Oh, but we also 6 coastline would be good too. Yeah, actually, coastline's more handy. So let's use coastlines. Okay, continuing on. Let's see. 2 and 5. Okay, we do want to add 2s to our feature wheel. However, 2 islands or 2 houses may not be what the doctor ordered, because in this main landmass that we've created, we want to have 10 houses, which will give us 8 points. So we do want to have a higher number for the house, I think. And 5 for coastlines is probably a good option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that's perfect. So we do need that. So let's go 5 coastlines. Even though we're not going to score any points for that. Let's go with that. And I'll add my coastline. It's going to cross over 5 times. All right, that is that. I've added my coastline and it's bleeding into the next map. I did want to mention as well that another landmark, the extra landmark that you get with the continent expansion is the port, which allows you to add one of your features to a previously completed map. So I'm thinking about that because with our previous map, we were adding mountains. We're trying to add lots of mountains to the map, and there was a kind of empty space here. So if I do get the opportunity to add more mountains, probably not from this map because there are none left, but in the future I could use a port landmark to do that. Alrighty, let's continue on. Double fives, again, not going to trigger an event because we've already triggered an event for double fives. But double fives is actually pretty good because we can use it to add either 5 houses or 5 islands. I think we'll do houses, and we'll add 5 houses. We just need to not add them to any spaces that are sharing the river that the troll is in, because that's gonna make us lose points. But maybe we could add some houses here. Maybe that's where the road leads. All right. Well, anyway, I'm gonna add those houses in. All right, so I've added my 5 houses, 3 here and 2 there, so you can always separate where they are. And that is that. Moving on. 6 and 3. Okay, 6 and 3. 6. Oh yes. All right. Yeah. So I think we want to have another landmark. So let's do that. Although 6 streams would be great for our flowing streams quest as well. But where do we put them? No, let's do a landmark. So let's do 6 here. Let's re-roll, or not re-roll, roll the second coordinate. 6 and 5, that's been a popular number. Okay, so we could put it here or here. Now, if we put a landmark here, we already have a landmark in that space, so we won't earn any extra points for that. So I think it's better to put it here. And then that lets us maybe add some coastline or something like that to that space. Oh, we could do 6 and 6. We could do it here as well, but I'm thinking this is going to be a good spot. So yeah, we'll do 6 and 5. And let's do another castle. We already have the temple and ruins that we haven't used. So we do have a bit of mitigation up our sleeves if the dice rolls don't go our way. So I think we're good to go and add a castle to this space here. All right, so I've added my castle, and at this point in time, it doesn't really make any sense because it's floating in the middle of the ocean, which is fine as long as you fix the map mistake by the end of the game. Otherwise, you will lose points. But we press on. All right, 2 and 3. 2 houses, or 2 streams, or 3 rivers, or 3 streams. Okay, neither option is great. Maybe now we can use the ruins ability actually and change this to maybe a 1 and a 4 and try to add another landmark or try to add more forest. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah, let's use our ruins. And so the total is 5, but we can manipulate that and make that a 1 and a 4. So we can rearrange the dice results. And so we could add a 4 here and then add another landmark that's going to be in either the 4th row or 4th column and go 4 here and then hope that this is a 1, 2, or 3 is part of this next roll. 3, okay, that's good. So we can go 4 and 4 or 4 and 3 here or here. So let's go here to maximize our journey's end. And that's also that also kind of makes sense because we have this kind of fork in the road, and so I think it makes sense that there'd be some kind of landmark there, as that is a central point in this this part of the map. So let's do 4 and 3. And just for fun, let's choose a different landmark. Let's add a keep, which lets us ignore the dice results in a future round. So effectively just re-rolling the dice. So I'm going to put a K here for keep, and let's add our keep. All right, now we've done all our landmarks at this point, and all of them, 1, 2, 3, oh, actually no. All right, I have missed a trick here because I was thinking too much about our rival kingdoms, and I totally forgot that this landmark needs a road connecting to it. So we only have one road left, so at least one of these is not going to score for a journey's end, and it's probably going to be this one. We'll try to have a road joining up to this temple at least. But still, that's okay. If we can do that, we'll get 16 points, which isn't bad. Next round. 3 and 2 again. All right, that is unfortunate because that's what we avoided last time. I tell you what though, I think it's good if we can get closer to this road without burning this stream, which we need for that. So let's go 3 rivers, and I just need to think about this river system a little bit. Yeah, okay, so let's have a river maybe start from beyond the map. We'll plan for that, but for now we'll just have it flow into this river here. So it's going to cross over 1, 2, 3 times, and so it's unfinished here. So in general, you cannot have features overlapping, but the exception to that is rivers and roads. Whenever that happens, you can just draw a little bridge to either going under the road or over the river. And also another thing is you can have obviously rivers connecting to other rivers. And usually you would be playing this game with a pencil and eraser, so you could easily redo that, but I'm using pen, so I'm just going to use a little white out like that. All right, so that's our river. Crossing over 1, 2, 3 times. Okay. And at this stage, we only have only 2 2s. So that's not great for our power of 2 quest. Let's try to get a few more. Double 5s. No, that is not ideal. We could use the keep and just ignore it entirely, but I do think it's probably better to use we may as well use islands at this point. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do 5 islands. And in doing so, we've actually finished this wedge. So we shade this in just so we know that we don't have any more features left to go in this wedge. And let's add 5 islands. All right, so we've added our 5 islands and we've closed up our 5th wedge. And now we've got double 4s, already triggering an event. So 4 houses, that's okay. So let's do 4 houses, finishing the 4th wedge. And on this mainland, so thinking about rival kingdoms, on our main landmass we have 5 houses plus 1 castle, and castle equals 3 houses. So we have 8 houses in total. So we just need 2 more for this main section, and then we can start adding them to other land masses to earn points for the other land masses, I think. So maybe we'll add a couple, maybe here, maybe there can be a little town by the keep, and the other 2 can maybe go on a separate island, or maybe we can add them there to join this castle. In any case, I'm going to add those now. Okay. All right. Next round. 1 1 and 6. Okay, so in the first wedge, 6 forests, that's going to be pretty tough. 6 houses, very doable though. On the other hand, we have 1 river or 1 lake. But we want to save, or we really want to do 6 lakes for our Swamplands main quest. So we don't want to do 1 lake, but 1 river actually works pretty well. 6 houses works pretty well too. They're both good options. I think just because there's 3 left here and only 2 left here, I think we will just do 1 lake though, and we'll just 1 river, I should say, and we'll just have that river hitting the border of the map, which is going to have it extend into southwest region. So at this point, this river is actually going all the way. Yeah, okay, this is interesting. Anyway, that is that. We're ready for our next round. Double 5s. Okay, that is pretty terrible. By itself, if we didn't have any landmark abilities to use, well, that would actually be the end of the game because we wouldn't be able to do anything. However, we do have the temple and the keep that we can use. If we use the temple, we can change the 5 to a 6. We can add 1 and then that can be, we can make 5 lakes. That's probably our best option, to be honest. The keep will just let us just ignore that result entirely, but because the temple is actually that's actually a pretty good option. Let's go with that. So we're going to use the temple ability. We're going to change the 5 to 6, and that means we can choose the 6th wedge and do 5 lakes, which is great for this quest here, Swamplands. So let's add our 5 lakes. Actually, maybe one of them can actually be where this river originates as well. That might be good, that this troll is hanging around the lake at the bottom of the mountains. All right, so the 5 lakes have been added and we are ready for our next round. 1 and 6. 1 and 6. All right, so now we can do. We don't want 1 coastline. That's not going to work. And 6 forests is a bit too many. So let's do 6 houses. And let's think about adding them to different land masses, which includes islands, to maximize this town's quest. So let's go. Okay. Added my 6 houses, and we are ready for the next round. 2 and 3. That's good, actually, because we do need our road. We still haven't added any streams though, so we're not scoring anything for that. But 2 seems like that's not. I want to do better than 2. I want to have 2 or 3. I want to either add like a higher number. But yeah, I think we'll do. I think we'll do roads, just to make sure that this is at least connected, and that is 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, I guess. So maybe this, yeah, that can cross here. 1, 2. Maybe it can cross up here as well. So let's add that road. All right, there's my road, and. So whatever we roll, we do want it there to be, we basically want a 2 or a 3 and a high number. That's what we're aiming for. Okay, that's perfect. So now we really have to add some streams. So we're going to choose 5 streams, and we're going to make sure that where we place them is going to be in spaces that also have forest. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so I've added my 5 streams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Streams can just branch off any water sources effectively. And so these are all going to score, although this one is drawn a little bit strange, but I know it's a stream. That's the main thing. Okay, and next we have double 2s, which usually would be great for our Power of 2 quest, but it's going to trigger an event. So lots of events this game, and our event is Maelstrom. We're going to draw a whirlpool in an ocean space with no features in it, and we'll lose 5 points if any features except for names are added to this space. So the good thing is we do have a space. Well, we have a few free spaces, and so basically this is just going to clog up a space that we can't use for any other features, but it doesn't really matter because we probably weren't going to add anything to any of these spaces anyway. So that is not too bad. Let's do this event and let's add our whirlpool. Maybe to the very edge of the map kind of makes sense to me. Alrighty, here's the old whirlpool, stirring up mayhem in the southeastern corner of the map. And let's see what we have next. 2 and 6. 2 and 6. Okay, so we could... All right, this could work out well because we could do 2 coastlines and actually could make an island using the coastlines. Oh, we could also make a lake, which would be good for our Swamplands quest. But another option would, of course, be to use the 6 for streams. And I think that's the best option, really, because we've only added 5 so far. So we are going to be earning 10 points for that. But we still have a few other spaces where we could be adding streams and earning points. But thinking about this now, actually, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 spaces where we can actually have forests and no streams right now. Not sure what to do there. Because another thing is, if we add a stream here, then that's not going to work because we don't have anything for it to flow into. So we'll only be able to add it to three spaces. So that could be a problem. Although we could add streams here and just hope to be able to add a little forest here in the future. That could work too. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So we'll do 6 streams, and yeah, let's add the streams in. All right, so I've added my 6 streams in onto the map, and but a lot of them, well, some of them around here aren't actually going to contribute to the score unless I can add a forest to this region here. So I'm going to hope that I get a 1 and a 2 or a 1 and a 3, ideally, in the future. Double 5s. Okay, that is terrible. But we do have our keep that we can use, so we're going to in fact have to use it. So we've used a keep, and we really can't roll 4s, 5s, or 4 and a 5, because that will end our game. So 3 and 5. Oh, that was close, but we're safe. I haven't added any names to this map at all, but names aren't going to score us anything except if there are 2 names, of course, and we would earn points for the Power of 2 quest. So I think we do need to choose houses, even though our world is a little bit nameless right now. This is it was a very unusual map, so maybe this is an area of the world that is no one speaks of and no one gives names to. But anyway, I've chosen 5 houses. So I'm thinking about Rival Kingdoms quest, and I'm going to try to maximize points for that by adding the 5 houses in. All right, that's good. So I've added 5 houses to this island that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 houses and 1 castle. So actually it's a total of 10 houses. And the mainland also has a total of 10 houses, which includes the castle. So this mainland and this island here are going to earn 16 points in total. And then the other 3 islands are going to earn 2 points each. So 22 points, but the maximum you can earn for any one quest is 20. So we have maxed out that quest, which is nice. We're ready for the next roll. Again, we want a 1 and a 2, or a 1 and a 3. 6 and a 5 is not what we wanted, but at least it's not going to end the game. But we are approaching the end very quickly now. So we have to choose 5 coastlines, or we could just skip it. We could do an X there and we'd lose 1 point during scoring, but we can do 5 coastlines. So we may as well do that. And one thing you can do with coastlines is it just has to touch the line 5 times. So, oh no, that's not going to work. Bummer. Usually that would be okay because I can meet the edge, but I forgot that we're doing the continent expansion, in which case we can't touch the red edge. However, we can touch the green edge. All right, I need to think about this, but I think it should be possible. I think we can make an inland lake using coastlines. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. All right, this is going to be a bit strange, but we're going to use the coastlines to start here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the coastlines are essentially going to form like an inlet or a lake. It's really going to depend on what happens with the southwest map, but we can do it, which is good. So I'll go ahead and add that section of coast in. Okay, so I've added my coastline, and that may end up forming a bit of an inland sea, or more accurately, really a large lake here, which is going to help our Swamplands quest if I can do it. So that is that. And at this point, we have completed our 4th, 5th, and 6th wedges. So we don't want to roll any combination of 4, 5, or 6. We need at least a 1, 2, or 3 part of our next rolls. It was 2 and 3. All right, that's good. And now I think we may as well get a 2 on the board for, let's get a 2 on the, it's going to be either 2 names or 3 names, but let's choose 2 so we can score a couple of points for that quest. And let's finally name some things in this region. And I think this castle is kind of the focal point of the map at this point, so we should probably name these kind of 2 areas here. These seem to be the main points of interest, I think. So, and I've completed that. So I'm going to add, think of something and add these 2 names now. Okay, so we have King's Rest and the Mold Fort. And now we're really struggling because we need at least a 1 or a 2 in our roll, otherwise that's going to be curtains. Double 2s. All right, that is pretty good because we're going to add 2 more names, and we're very close to the end. Now we only have 1 remaining feature and would need a roll to be able to even add it. But anyway, we're going to add 2 more names. So yeah, I'll add those in. Okay, and I've added 2 more names, and really, the game's going to end unless I can roll a 1 in this next round. And I cannot, so that is going to be the end of part 2, game sheet 2, the southeastern game sheet of our playthrough of the continent. And I think we did pretty well. Again, with all the scoring, you do all the scoring at the very end of all 4 game sheets. And that is, where is it? Oh yeah, and all the scoring is, you add it to the northwestern game sheet here. But we can have a quick look at how we've done so far with this map. And we've earned, for this quest, we earned, let's see, we needed spaces that have mountains and coastline. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 points for that one. Landmarks and road, we saw that before. That I think that was 16. Yep, 16 points, so up to 27. For flowing streams, we're able to score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so 14. However, again, we may be able to, on a future game sheet, use a port, which we still haven't used, as a landmark, and then add a forest from the future game sheet to this part of the map. That could be an option. So 14, 27, so up to 41, and here we max that out, so that was 61. And 2, we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 2s. That's a shame. So we only got 8 points for that, like in the example. So that was, we got 69 points for this sheet. But again, we're not going to score it yet because we may be able to add some more forest in the future. And we can have a quick look at how we're going so far with these 2 maps next to each other. You can see that we've kind of finished the eastern edge. So that's all coming together. And yeah, we're able to add a lot, I think, a lot of features and whatnot to this particular map. So I think we've done well. But that will be it for this video. Again, thank you for tuning in to this one. And if you are interested in the game, I will put some links in the description to the video. All of these cards are prototype cards for the boxed edition of Fantasy Mapmaker, which we are hoping to do a print run of in February. So if you would like to help out and get your copy, then please consider signing up for our Kickstarter. And if you're watching this when the Kickstarter is live, please consider backing it. And if you have backed it when the Kickstarter is live, then thank you. But otherwise, yeah, if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear what you're thinking about this playthrough so far. And if you've got any questions that you would like me to answer in a future video for the next 2 parts, then let me know. But otherwise, have a great day and thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next video.